What is up, Crow fan? We are back today with another Versus video here. Going to be focusing on our testing for the Tournament of Power event that's coming up really soon in the next couple weekends. Before we get started in this video, let me give a shout out to my sponsor, Alec Pastrana, Beard Collectibles, best shop owner on the planet. If you're looking to get your Shield product, make sure you go through Alec Pastrana and Bearded Collectibles to get it, because this set is absolute gas. Singles prices are amazing, so if you're looking to buy a box, you can flip a box relatively easily. And then, of course, if you're trying to get to one of these events and need all the cards in order to be able to make it to one of these events, make sure you go through Alex Toronto and Beard Collectibles so you get exactly what you need. So today, we're going to be focusing on, again, another video featuring Successor combo with Gohan. This deck is being piloted today by Frisco Faz, the master, the legend, playing the same exact deck he played last week. Last week, he didn't have such good luck against Piccolo's Hand Destruction, which was piloted by Jose. The main reason why is because he gave up on the Feet Kamehameha, which would have denied Jose 3 cards to combo with, which potentially could have won him the game. But we're still playing the same archetype here today. Very, very powerful. It's a turn 3 combo deck that relies upon the abuse of easy-to-access 4-cost battle cards to then summon SS2 Son Gohan Wounded Victor, who's featured in the starter deck, in tandem with Pangrade Whisperer to allow for 6 triple strike attacks between the leader and SS2 Son Gohan. Absolutely absurd. Snap when the deck goes off. And today, the challenger in this matchup is actually Invoker. So Pat is actually piloting Invoker today. It's just going to be a hard control deck focusing on surviving the first 2 turns of the game and then turn the corner with the new SSB Vegeta. Once you stick that, combo that with your built-in card advantage engines along with all the disruption the deck has to offer, you're just trying to secure a lead and then close out the game with Catastrophic Blow or Apex of Power. Again, very powerful deck, very unique, new to Series 9. A lot of hype around this deck, but I still think the deck is pretty underrated at this point. I think a lot of people really like, you know, the harsh aggressive decks, but honestly, this deck itself is absolutely absurd, and you're going to see that here today, how it survives the first couple turns against Gohan. So let's go ahead and go straight into the gameplay. Alright, so in this game, Frisco is going to be on the play, and so this means that either getting turn 1 Tournament of Power or not getting Tournament of Power at all is going to be Pat's play. So as you can see, Pat doesn't have access to a blue charge, so he's going to go and charge a dual color on turn 1. And he has Topo for the next turn, which is going to be pretty impactful here. Frisco goes into a second turn, and now Frisco has the option to attack here. And one thing to note about attacking Invoker Goku is that when you do, and let's say you go to 15, they either are taking 2 damage with their ability, or they're just going to take 1 life. And they can't really afford to take the extra damage, so let's see if Frisco combos here to make these attacks harder for Goku to defend. Looks like no combo here. So he's just going to restand the leader, and then Pat's going to be able to leverage his ability to be able to just take a life and draw a card, and then defend the attack itself. So this is big because this just allows Invoker Goku to just crew more of that card advantage, and this is exactly what the deck needs in order to be able to be successful. So now Frisco is going to go into a second attack here. I'm assuming, again, no combo. If he didn't combo the first time, I don't think he's going to combo the second time either. Frisco goes ahead and plays, looks like a 1-drop Krillin. This card is getting really popular now, lots of hype. Oh, and a Pan to discard the Beer. So now Frisco, next turn, in the next couple turns, he's already going to have the ability to access the 8-drop Gohan if he wants. Goes to Pat's turn. Pat's charges are fairly simple here. You're either charging a red card, or you're playing Tournament of Power and... so you're either charging and leaving up Topo, or you're playing Tournament of Power this turn. I don't think playing Tournament of Power here is the play, just because it's like you're on the draw. So you're putting yourself in a bind, whereas it's like Topo's going to guarantee you at least see the next turn. You're going to draw more cards. Here, we have a conversation. Pat's debating playing Tournament of Power because he just wants to, you know, he's thinking about how it's going to be, and we're having this like inner dialogue during our testing session. And it's like Frisco's basically saying like, you know, am I going to be able to kill you next turn? Blah, blah, blah. I'm only going to be able to get down to 4 life. But it's like, we don't know. Like, we have to assume that we don't know what Frisco is playing. So, Pat here, taking a few minutes to make his decision. Ultimately, he's going to end up deciding on leaving up Topo. Because, again, we're on the draw. We don't want to take any risk or subject ourselves to a really bad turn where we're just taking a ton of damage. So, here, as you can see, this is where Pat thinks about playing Tournament of Power. And he ends up changing his mind, of course, because he wants to leave up Topo. Going back to Frisco's turn. Turn 3, he has a lot of options. I mean, he's going to be able to get down to 4 life this turn. But like I said, Pat's just going to be able to stifle with a Topo. And since Frisco isn't down to 4 life yet, he can't focus break through it. So this is actually a really good play. And then now, Pat has, we're in this together in his drop area, so Pat has access to a board wipe next turn. As long as he can stick a Vegeta and either awaken or get a Beer Super combo. Frisco goes ahead and plays another 1-drop Krillin, which is going to turn into a 4-drop once it's awakened. So as you can see, like, look at the cost of battle cards he has on the board. It's pretty absurd. Pat here again debating with the charge. Unfortunately, his time to play TOP has kind of passed because he has no other defensive options and he has to stick Vegeta this turn. So it looks like that Tournament of Power is actually going to be the charge for the turn. Taps 3. He's going to play his Vegeta because you have to. And then we're going to see Pat actually do an attack here. He's just going to be deciding which card to pitch, debating between Emperor's Death Beam and Royal Combination. Pat taking a look at his drop area, see what he has. As you can see, Pat very thoughtful in his decision to try to pick 1 or 2 cards. He's going to go ahead and swing leader. He takes plus 5k, takes the life, draws a card, finds that Beer Super combo, which is huge here because it just opens him up to more defensive flexibility. And then we're probably going to end up seeing Pat go ahead and surge. Yep. Untap 1, draw 3. Great 3 cards to draw. Bean, Dimension Magic just helps ensure that he's going to be able to hopefully survive the next turn. And so Frisco here has a couple things he can do. So number 1, he is either going to play around a board wipe or he's going to play into a board wipe. And so here we're going to end up having another discussion. So Frisco here is going to combo because he's going to have to combo out of this anyway because he doesn't want to go to another 3 right now because he wants to get the absolute max value out of his next turn. So he's going to remove a Valiant Breakthrough from his hand. He's also going to combo another Valiant Breakthrough. And this is an interesting thing because Frisco here is actually going to contemplate arrivaling in to play a Krillin. But it's like, if he does that, he's just going to get so, like, punished so hard. He tries to name the skill Invoker on Vegeta, but he can't because Vegeta's not in rest mode. So then once Frisco realizes this, he's going to end up pulling this back. Because again, just not the right play here. You're subjecting yourself to just getting blown out absolutely by a board wipe. So Frisco's going to end up pulling this play back. He's still going to have to combo out of it, so comboing those 2 cards works fine for him. But again, he's just walking right into a board wipe. So luckily, thinking about the matchup itself, he's going to end up pulling this back. So at least he can kind of rebuild on the next turn. Because again, Pat is still like has to play the board wipe. So Pat plays We're in this together, wipes the board, goes into Frisco's turn and has access to Dimension Magic, but he's actually going to go ahead, look at Frisco's hand, choose the card to discard. Looks like the choice is probably going to end up being Feet Kamehameha since Frisco has access to cards he doesn't really care about. It's either that or Focus Breakthrough, but since Pat doesn't have access to a Topo right now, it really doesn't make sense to take the Focus Breakthrough. And Pat's tapped out, so he can't really represent it this turn. One thing to note here about Pat's timing of this, and we talk about this during the game itself, it's like using it now just isn't that good. Like, because he can only do so much to disrupt Frisco's hand right now, and Frisco is going to be able to swing, get 2 extra cards, and it's like that's when you actually want to have the ability to look at his hand. And since he's not doing that. He just loses so much more information. And also, we end up talking about this after the game too, but with the cards that's in Pat's drop area, if Pat were to use the other ability instead at some point in the game to pull the three extra cards back, Pat probably puts himself in a more winning position. So keep that into account as we go through the rest of the game. Here, we're going back to Frisco's turn. He's got to go ahead and try and rebuild this board state so he can actually attempt to win the game, because now Frisco's on turn 4. This is not where he wants to be. Frisco wanted to go ahead and close the game out by now, but unfortunately, having a topo on turn 2, along with, hitting the SSB Vegeta and then the board wipe on the 3rd turn of the game, definitely backbreaking. Frisco goes in charge focus breakthrough, mostly because since he knows that Pat's tapped out, having access to topo isn't something he's going to have to worry about. Krillin again comes down. Again, this is going to turn into a 4-cost. Talking to Pat here, working through this line of play, pretty certain the play is just to snap off the Dimension Magic now to get rid of one of the triple strike attacks you have to face down, and then also open up your energy to the multiple cards that you have. So like your Emperor's Death Beam, along with your Sensu Beam, your super combo, you just open up more plays for yourself. And you're going to see how resilient Frisco's deck is here, because he's going to be able to recoup this board on this turn. So he's going to go ahead and activate Awaken, play the Pan, draw, untap 1. Pat here showing the extra cards he has in his drop area that he has access to. Again, if you look at the cards he has access to plus the Death Beam, the second Death Beam, if Pat were to have used his ability just to get 3 extra cards back, you're going to see that honestly just puts Pat so far ahead. But unfortunately, Pat here, falls into the trap of using the Thoughtseize ability again this turn. You'll see. Frisco does his second swing. Pat doesn't have access to the negate here. Crits a life, give himself triple attack for the duration of the turn. You're probably going to see Frisco rival in another battle card, because he's got to set up that kill turn, because the longer the game goes on, the less likely it is that Gohan's going to be able to win this game. So Frisco knows it's now or never he's going to go in. At this point in the game, talking with Frisco, his biggest issue was not having access to a yellow card to combo with. So you're going to see that he actually probably ends up comboing the Pan off the board, which ruins his turn a bit. But Pat being at 4 life is something that makes it not as terrible to go through. But again, he just loses a lot of his oomph on this turn. Yep. Combos a green card. He's going to have to combo a yellow card from his hand. Yep. Combos the Pan off the board. He's going to rival into play a Ribrian, which is probably the best rival card in the deck. KOs the topo, and then he's going to end up getting Surprise Attack Frieza for free. So now he has 12 power with the battle cards right now on the field. Going from 0 to 12 is pretty solid. If he had Cell Secret Rare here, it'd be pretty busted. But Frisco at this time is still playing Broly just because of how it synergizes. Pat ends up using the ability to look at Frisco's hand, choose a card, and discard it. Best route to take here, honestly, based off of his hand, is the Belmont. It's the only 5k combo card that he has access to in his hand, so he's not going to be able to really combo. And then also, it kind of gets rid of the play of, Frisco just choosing to go in with his board itself and then sack Belmont to just get more value. Or sack to Belmont to get more value. So Pat here contemplates playing Death Beam to kill the Frieza, but we know that that's just not a... Where it's like the Death Beam here is definitely not the play. Like, yeah, Frisco has these battle cards with value, but he already has 12, so just like killing this prize tag Frieza with his Emperor's Death Beam is just such a bad play. And again, this was another reason why, like, instead of Pat doing the Thoughtseize ability, he should have just used it to get 3 extra cards back. Because if he does that, there's no way he can lose this game. But since he didn't, he's now having to pay the price for it. And has to. This game gets a lot more difficult for him. So Frisco's sitting at 35,000. Yeah, we're talking through the line of play now, so Pat can see it. Ends up taking the 3. Again, this was definitely the smarter play. Sees more cards, gets more options, and now he knows Frisco's hand at this point. Frisco is... This was the plus side of Thoughtseizing, is now he knows that Frisco has to go into the 8-drop because he has nothing to combo with. So, sacks off those, plays the Gohan, swings. No negates from Pat. He's going to combo. Pat, smart, going to beam. Then now you play the Emperor's Death Beam. So yes, even though he's going to be able to deploy the Broly Secret from his hand, he's going to discard his hand, play the Broly Secret Rare, and then Pat's just going to be able to snap off the topo, negates, discards a card, and even though Pat's going to be down to 0 hand, Frisco's already down to 0 cards in hand, and now Frisco no longer can win the game, and Pat just wins with a simple strike from one of his battle cards or his leader card in play. But as you can see, the game, like, all the disruptive elements you have access to as Invoker, and even if you're just thinking about the way that hand destruction was able to interact with this deck, like, being able to just, like, pick apart different pieces that they have, their hand, their removal options, Invoker, one of the strongest decks heading into this current format. Tournament of Power is coming up really soon. I know that everyone's going to be really excited for that. And just in general, if you're thinking about going to the Tournament of Power and you're looking for a deck to play, definitely no place like better to start than just Invoker. Deck is very powerful, does very unique things, and honestly just has a really good way of putting a stranglehold on the game. And then also, it's even good against the aggressive strategies. You know, as long as you have cards like Topo, Dimension Magic, there's no way you can really go wrong. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the format. Thank you guys so much. Okay, thanks. Bye!